Okay, definitely just widely considered a strong hero. Certainly a nice combination with the Juggernaut and kind of counteract the steroid that the Ogre provides. You've got the Magnus. Also offers some really long duration lockdown for the Faceless Void, and he is a difficult hero to kill off without long duration lockdown. Things looking pretty darn even thus far. See how the lanes shake up. I mean, J.Storm perhaps with a very slight advantage, already seeing this 3 position from compLexity. Ooh, this is a very interesting one. Okay, Necrophos, not something we see all that often. We did talk about range carries that can dump damage into the Chronosphere. He doesn't necessarily do that in spades, as Necrophos is a hero that does damage over sort of a long, drawn-out fight. But he does fit that bill. He can throw in a couple of death pulses, and he can sort of chain CC with the Reaper's Scythe out of the Void Chrono. Very interesting pick here. Also has the natural Juggernaut Omni-Slash counter. And that's a very natural Necrophos counter with the Doom. Obviously, compLexity fared very well with it last game with Death. In this scenario, though, this either means Magnus is in the 4 or in the mid. Could also mean the Doom is in the 4. That, I think, is least likely. Doom is very underwhelming. He's kind of like a silencer when you put him in that position. Just sort of an ultimate. Doom, of course, does have the gold farming mechanic of Devour that Silencer does not. So there's more argument for him as a 4 position, certainly, than there is for someone like a Silencer. But nonetheless, it does feel like he's a much more impactful hero with a bit of farm. And this is another direct Necro counter here. This is a hero that could have been real nice with the Faceless Void too. There's a range carry, not a real, kind of pseudo ranged, but you can, I suppose, pick up a Dragonlance at some point. But it is a good matchup against the Lina for Bryle, and a snap pickup by J.Storm. So very exciting sort of last couple of phases to this draft here. It is going to be a 4-position Magnus, which makes a lot of sense to me. Magnus much more useful as a 4 hero than the Doom, because he does provide the Empower. So he naturally buffs the team without needing really any farm, just some levels. And his ultimate just as good as sort of Doom's ultimate, whereas the Magnus can skewer into a fight if he's poor. Doom doesn't have a blink, doesn't have a Shadow Blade. It becomes very difficult. So I definitely agree with that configuration as far as roles to heroes mapping. And Bryle's TA pick is a very interesting one to me. Not a hero that really has been all that relevant recently, but definitely one that can ball out of control in the right circumstances. And this is definitely a lineup that can face rush you from J.Storm's side. And they have, kind of an initiator and a counter initiator with the Void and the Phoenix. So very difficult targets to kill, the Necro and the TA. And we'll see how they end up faring. Not too much tick damage for this TA. Really just the Infernal Blade and the Blade Fury. So Bryle should have a pretty decent time if he comes out of the lane strong, guys. It's game 3. Loser goes down to that lower bracket, that treacherous lower bracket in the North American qualifiers. They are going to join up with, started from the bottom, and Xolotl, the Mexican team.
What a punk.
And likely team as well. Yep, EG has already 2-0'd team. So EG is up in the upper bracket, and team down in the lower bracket. Winner of this going to move on to face the Flying Penguin squad. Oh, that's weird how that's happening. Flying Penguins, of course, Envy, Gunner, and the likes. Shout out to Franz, the manager. And again, if you make it into the upper bracket, one series win, one best-of-3 series win, you're qualified for the 3rd DPC major of the season, DreamLeague Season 11. Almost 5,000 DPC points as a reward for first place there. But baby steps, stepping stones here. We got to get a win in this one before any of that noise. Moose standout game in game 1, rough showing in game 2, and the absolute opposite for Miracle, who had a abysmal early game on the PA and a fantastic game last game on his Jug. He does pick up the Jug here, but this time the Faceless Void will be conceded as it was banned the other 2 games with the Juggernaut pick. Early wards. It's an interesting one to kind of spot rotations in, maybe towards the pole camp, towards the bounty runes, towards the mid lane. This one going to block the camp and give a little bit of vision to the dire side. Sentry mid lane. Not sure if that caught anything. There is a last hit each, so it looks like there was a D ward each for the Phoenix and the Lich. Sorry, I didn't catch those. Death already taking some punishment. He had a fantastic game last game, but he's up here all by his lonesome at the moment. And wow, in mid lane we get a first blood as Z-Freak comes with the wrap. Level 1 skewer, boys, into the LSA. It looks like it hit twice, or at least was used twice, and with 600 damage it probably hit twice. That's a major kill to happen here early on in a disadvantageous matchup for the Lina. We'll watch Z-Freak again as he approaches the mid lane. But Bryle has seemed to become wary of this as he makes his way over to the left side where it's much more difficult for the Magnus to approach. Daytime, LSA does connect. Z-Freak looking for the skewer and catches it. He's such a skilled player, is Z-Freak. And Bryle, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Bryle gonna get taken by the same scenario. And thankfully for this caster, the same thing happens over again, because of course I missed it first time around. Very skillful play from the 2 members of compLexity in the mid lane. And that's just a major morale boost for your squad. You can't watch mid lane really as anyone else but the mid laner, but when you see your mid laner gaining 2 kills already, you're feeling good in the other lanes. Z-Freak is just back once again. He's got the boots advantage, so the moment Bryle steps downhill, he becomes again susceptible. This time Z-Freak just going to, well, pull him in with the shockwave because he's level 2 now into the LSA. They hit the Dragon Slave as well. Bryle in trouble, but he has a reflection if he needs it. Refraction, excuse me. It's not a Terrorblade. And he will be able to pop that up and get salving. But wow, even more dangerous Z-Freak now with the shockwave play. And Bryle just tense in this mid lane. Bryle going to be tipping Z-Freak, lighten it up, lighten the air up a bit. Bottom lane, Miracle going to drop the Blade Fury. Moo unfazed on the Void. 7 and 5 on the Void. And 8 and 5, or 9 and 5 on the Void, and 8 and 5 on the Jug. Pretty even, all things considered there. The Doom, though, having a very rough time up against Ogre and Necrophos, top lane. Does do a little bit of pulling. He is level 3. Now TP into the bottom lane from Fear. Fire Blast coming out onto Z-Freak. Miracle is deep. Gets time locked near the tower, but now Moo forced to time lock away. Z-Freak has no Shockwave. Fear, no Ignite, but he does have a Fire Blast. Dive forward will slow Miracle, and he's in trouble, but Moo also slowed by the Frost Blast. In the meantime, the Phoenix does go down. Oh, the time lock there from Moo. He's able to time walk away, but the Frost Blast from Monkeys finishes him off. And some great play early on from complexities. They seem to be taking the better end of all the trades. Forev is a Necrophos, so yeah, he's going to regen most of what you do to him as long as he's killing creeps. Feeling very confident here, level 4 on the Necro. The Doom, though, has done admirably to keep up here. 12 CS. Z-Freak has a bottle. This Magnus has a bottle, ladies and gentlemen. One last hit and a bottle. 1-0-3. Incredible play early on from Zach. Monkey's coming in, has the Frost Armor. Gonna get the Bounty Rune first, obviously. The most important of the things to gather. And now Haste, and they ping immediately. Yellow. The Fear Ogre gonna ping Brow and say, yo, Pesky Magnus, coming your way again. You'll see Brow duck over to the jungle creeps. Makes this move a lot more difficult. Even if he gets the skewer, he's probably barely on the low ground. And can make it back to safety, so... Again, same tricks can't work too many times, but they have worked enough to make this a fantastic early game for Limp. Top of the CS board, 32 last hits and 15 denies to his name. But then followed closely by a triumvirate of heroes from the Radiant side, the leader of which is Forev's Necrophos, nearing the level 6 mark here, 6 minutes in. Miracle, level 4 on the Jug. Oh, this is a big kill if they can find it. We just talked about how high level he is. Just staying sick, but he's very tanky. And he's got the magic wand as well. Trying to get a right click off on that healing ward. Unable to do so. 3 Radiant heroes near the bottom side of the map. Not sure if you're getting down that deep ward. Similar to the one we saw last game. Z-Freak. Thinking about it. A lot of heroes here. Forev could be in trouble, and certainly is. They even bring in the Lina. And wow, the stomp coming out from Death as well. Forev gonna meet Death as Miracle finds the kill. It's a 4-man rotation, but it's pretty well worth it. I mean, he was top net worth in the game. They feel like they've gained enough of an advantage against this TA to spend a little bit of time away with the Lina, and she is quite quick with the Fiery Soul as well. So makes it back to base in due time. So they've rotated Death down to the bottom lane and given Miracle the safer lane as the aggressive dual lane gets him some decent farm, but 21 denies for Moo is certainly not ideal, and Miracle makes his way up top where he'll eclipse his level 5 mark. Meanwhile, the Void sitting on almost level 6. Fear behind Limp in the mid lane. Not going to do anything of consequence here. Yet, anyways. Was making his way down mid. Bryle basically pinging his location out. Overall, fairly even game thus far. Slight gold lead for compLexity, despite overall losing the CS battle. They do have 5-1 in the way of kills. Monkeys picks up a DD. He's not going to be able to do much with that, but at least denying it from fear. Moo does have that Chronosphere available. Sunray is not skilled up yet, but the Fire Spirits do quite a bit of damage. It is possible that they get a solo kill on the Lich. Moo's actually pinging him out now. And not sure that they even need a Chrono for him. But they do find Death. He will Scorched Earth and scurry away to the north, and he'll be just fine. Bryle going to let his Clarity do a little bit of work and allow the creeps to approach the tower. He's got up nicely. Of course, some of these last hits are jungle creeps, and there are 19 denies on Limp, but overall, with those 2 early deaths, TA seems to be in good shape. Level 8. Limp is also level 8 and not too far ahead. So, as Necrophoses tend to do, continuously beat into your tower and keep creeps on your side of the lane. And so, nearly eclipsing his level 8 milestone is Forev, and he's done, well, near 70% damage of this tower. Moo's still yet to make a rotation with this Chrono, content to continue farming. And he's done a pretty good job of it so far, 52 and 26. Take a look at the net worth, and the distribution, excuse me, is pretty darn even across the board. Of course, the TA, the one lacking, but the Necrophos has made up for it in spades. Mid lane, they are TPing in the Doom. Limp will burn his way out of the trees. And meanwhile, on the east side, Moo trying to find the Lich. Sunray is there as well. He's using the Sinister Gaze, but it kind of just keeps him in place for the Sunray. Still has a time walk. We'll use it over to the west. Z-Freak has joined with a big shockwave now, but he doesn't have an RP just yet. Still, one smack of the hammer will find him a kill of the Fabled Phoenix. So they get a return kill. Still, no Chronosphere used. It was economically so held on to by Moo. And yeah, rather even trade overall. Slight advantage, I suppose, to the Radiant as far as gold and XP go. But a lot of that gold going Z-Freak's way, and he's got the Tome, so he's level 6 now on the Magnus. And there goes the tier 1. First tier 1 of the game going to be eliminated. Forev doing Necrophos things, just AFKing top lane. The dream. You get a Necrophos one-on-one matchup. The absolute dream. And this also looks like the dream right here. Triple stack of Ancients being farmed up by Bryle. And Fear probably reaping the benefits of that bonus gold for stacking them. Sure, Bryle did some of the stacking on his own as well with the traps. Two bracers for Forev. He's working on a Force Staff. Fear finding some time bottom, but is quite underleveled. The lowest in the game by a wide margin. And not that wide over monkeys, but Lich and Ogre right where you expect them to be. We talked about Z-Freak picking up that Tome of Knowledge, and now they're looking at, again, a very high net worth target here, and they have got they have the Laguna Blade. Wow, English. Laguna Blade ready, primed and ready. Bryle going to put some punishment into the tier 1 mid, and Forev has stepped forward, perhaps into major peril. He's been doomed. Skewer is there. RP, they'll spare no expense for this kill. But the dive is through 3. And they've got the Sunray as well. Moo gonna chase for Z-Freak and will find him. The Fire Blast is on to death. Will they Chrono for him? They indeed do. And they should get a second kill as well with the Bloodlust. They've got the Fire Blast if need be. The time dilation is there. Moo finds the death kill. And Bryle immediately rotating down southwards. Or at least to take the creeps. I thought he was going to go make this defense. as they did use the TP on the Void. But we do see the smoke of the 2 supports. Supernova is available. Limp could be in a bit of trouble here. Steps over a trap. We'll have it popped. Another one popped. Dive forward, finds him. Fire Spirit, Supernova. And Limp's going to drop there. Nicely executed immediately after the top gank by J.Storm's side. Looking to square this one up, 5-7. And they'll get a tier 1 for their troubles here as well, more than likely. TA can just pop the refraction and kill it off. And she'll do just that. Bryle finding the last hit on the tower, and they're able, with the previously dead Necrophos, to defend bottom lane. So all things going well in the last couple of minutes for the Radiant side. Moo pushes in top. He's got his Mask of Madness. Old school Void build there. And looks real quick with the Bloodlust and Mask of Madness activated. Fear behind the enemy lines here, looking for a pick on Limp. They will dive forward, but now the Phoenix dive has been used, and TPs are inbound. Fear will make his way up the hill. Monkey's going to get rid of the ward, but won't be able to get a Frost Blast. They do get the, well, they'll probably concede Fear here. Sunray from the bottom is going to keep him alive, but the Sinister's Gaze will turn him around, and March will do the same in the opposite direction. So they'll give up an Ogre as they find themselves a bit out of position looking for the Lina, but not the largest deficit to give away. Holy Locket completed by the Necro. Forev still atop the net worth chart. He is 0-2-2, so been involved in 2 kills and 2 deaths. And as you kind of expect, Necrophos is early on at least not too active. Just shoving the lane, staying alive, staying on the map. He has died certainly one more time than you'd like, but they did spare no expense to kill him. Their top lane dropping everything on him. RP, Doom, and Laguna Blade all used for this Necrophos. Lines are drawn on the map. Limp is going to be tailed by 3-4. Make that all 5. Members tailed by 4, all 5 members together, and Forev sniffing it out. He's gonna say, well, it's 16 minutes in, I don't know why we need this tier 1. We have a TA. Let's have a look at Roche. And perfect timing on the call from J.Storm. No one even showing in lane yet. Bottom, they'd like to see, well, maybe they have an idea of what's happening here. Making their way over to Roche. Bryle does have that Desolator, and it'll be too late from compLexity. They can look to fight this, but the Supernova is available, as is the Chronosphere now, and the Aegis has been taken. Z-Freak still hanging around. Jump forward. RP does find 3. They'll skewer him up to the high ground. Omni Slash is there as well with the Empower. The Laguna Blade takes out Fear, but they've still got lots to work with here. The Phoenix does end up going down. They get the Doom off on the Void, and Z-Freak is still alive. Reaper Scythe unable to kill him off. Bryle doing a lot of work on death, and the Void is still up. He's trying to regen using the lifesteal on the creeps. So when all is said and done, they lose 3. The Phoenix, the Necro, and the Ogre for the Doom. And they buy back the Phoenix, thinking that they could get more out of this. But Moo just ends up being too low from the damage on the Doom. And that Omni Slash with the Empower. Z-Freak just making play after play on his Magnus. Very brazen, bold call coming out from compLexity to still fight, even with the Aegis. And they don't focus the TA at all, really. They did get her in the RP, but I believe she had the refraction up, and so didn't take too much damage. And they did some really nicely coordinated focus fire to bring down Forev and Fear, as well as the Phoenix. Bryle, though, does have an Aegis for the next little bit. Trap goes out mid. Bryle will meld. There is actually a Dire Sentry there, but they couldn't pursue further. Dire didn't really... I guess they had some vision up the hill, but weren't really willing to commit to that. J.Storm going to go for the lowest hanging fruit on the map, the offlane tier 1 objective, after picking the Aegis up. Frost armor deployed on the tower, but they'll still be able to make pretty quick work of this. With the Desolator. TP's inbound here from Miracle. He's got a full Manta style, so a lot harder to get the Fire Spirits on him before Supernova. Forev could be in trouble here. Nice Sinister Gaze play into the Skewer. He will Ghost Shroud though, and they've got nice. The Reaper comes out. They've got the Sunray on top of it. Forev still getting low, and the bounces are really nice from the Chain Frost. Look like almost max range there. The Omni Slash will finish off the Necro. Limp will finish off the Phoenix. Bryle does end up getting a kill, but he'll fall here more than likely too. He actually does not. He's able to make it away. The Juggernaut, yeah, just treads, so not really able to pursue out. And not sure if there was a kill on the other side of the map, but the Lich did end up going down. Still feels like a very good fight for compLexity there. And they've been able to stand their ground despite this Aegis being in the hands of J.Storm. So the Chronosphere does seem like it was used. Perhaps they that's how they got the Lich kill elsewhere. Z-Freak has an RP available. Moo does not want to show yet, but the Shadow Blade is soon to expire. They should probably back here. Moo will use the Shadow Blade right click and force a Skewer uphill and then time walk away. Oh, double damage rune for Miracle here. He's going to be able to pick that up. Makes his way to the high ground, and both teams will dissipate. Well, that doesn't make sense. Disperse is probably the word I was looking for. If the teams dissipated, the game would be over, wouldn't it? Forev, despite having a fantastic lane, has not seemed to have much of an impact in this game, and he's back down to the 5th position on the net worth chart. Still, though, his other two cores are farming considerably well. Moo bloodlusted up with the Chronosphere available. Jump forward. Sinister Gaze is going to do that for a moment, but it's really delaying the inevitable as Monkey's hanging around the tower too long. Oh, the bash! Mid-Skewer onto Z-Freak. Another bash, and the time walk forward. Time dilation is there. Z-Freak is to accept his fate. And the tier 2 likely to do the same with 2 supports on the sidelines. Maybe they even poke at the tier 3 here. With this Desolator, they'll make quick work of this. They still have the Aegis. They still have the Chronosphere. Aegis actually will expire right now as I say that. And that will likely deter the Radiant from making any further progression down that lane. March just doing his best to push out top. Has a couple of bracers, makes him quite a bit more tanky. Dire Sentry and Observer here are scouting the movements of Bryle. Smoke coming out right on top of their Ward and Sentry combination, so willing to fight. They'll find Forev, jump forward. RP finds 2, Skewer into no man's land. The LSA is not well coordinated, but the Chain Frost will do enough work. Reaper Scythe does come out as Forev is with desperate attempt to keep himself alive, but he will end up going down. Bryle trying to work on the backlines is unable to do it and just gets blown up by Miracle. They're going to try and take out the Supernova, and they will. Double kill for the Juggernaut. Meanwhile, Moo does end up taking one out. That's going to be Death's Doom. He doesn't expend the Chronosphere for it. But overall, it's a disaster of a fight for the Radiant side, with only their Void surviving and a bit of a save a friend syndrome coming into play there. Forev kind of gets caught out of position. And Bryle blinks into the back line of the fight, trying to find himself a kill. Gets caught, taken out. The Supernova dive in as well from March is punished. And the only one to survive on the sidelines is the Moo Void. Still, all things considered, a relatively even game, but definite signs of life for compLexity and signs of momentum for them as well. The Juggernaut, the stat so far of this series, Juggernaut is 2-0. And the opposing team has lost each time, of course. Fear did go for a Midas. I was wondering why he was so high on the net worth chart. So perhaps he can make a contribution soon, at least in the way of item progression or multicast with all those levels. Smoke rotation through. Forev has the Reaper Scythe cooling down in about 15 seconds. Moo looking to use this Chronosphere. Can't find anyone clumped up though. And they will have to take out the sentry, so compLexity should be aware of the Radiant presence on the high ground, and they'll make their way over to the east, do some safe farming, assume some high ground of their own. Haste picked up on Z-Freak. We've seen how impactful he's been thus far in this one. We'll see what he can do with it. Moo is showing in the mid lane. Haste going to be popped by Z-Freak, but as soon as the range creep sees him, Moo makes his way up to the high ground. High ground gaming from both sides. Fog of War is a very effective tool to use in Dota 2. Roche is a... well, I thought it would be about a max spawn, but it's only another 20 seconds or so. Blink Diffusal Manta for Miracle. Alright, smoke up from the compLexity side. It's all 5 heroes, all ultimates ready to go on both sides. Should be a pretty even fight. Take a look at the Dire Vision. They don't see much. Radiant Vision has a little bit from the trap. They see the Lich. They'll pop the smoke, jump forward. Z-Freak looking for one. He gets caught with a trap. He's going to be taken out. Reaper Scythe will finish him with impunity. Now 3-shot is the Lich, and Roche conveniently going to spawn on top of J.Storm's entire lineup. And to work they will go. No buybacks available for either of those heroes. And interesting to see Z-Freak's timer so long at this juncture in the game. Level 14 on the Magnus. I guess the Lich is only level 10, and that's why it looks so different. Aegis and Cheese in this one. Cheese is on Moo's Faceless Void. And this tier 2 tower, not long for this world. Moo gonna Shadow Blade around the back, look for a pick. Did not see the Lich. It is nighttime. Bryle will take out the tower. The Radiant actually to pick up the last hit. And they need a tier 3 here at the least, it feels. With this Aegis. That way they could take out shrines. Don't need it right now, but within the duration of the Aegis, that would certainly be desirable. And they do have the Chronosphere up, so they'll just kind of assume this area on the dire side of the map for the moment. Lotus Orb comes out for Ev's Necrophos. The BKB is complete as well for Bryle, and a Dragon Lance in his stash. That could be very much so influential. BKB completed on the Faceless Void. Crimson Guard on the Doom. BKB up on the Lina. I don't know why I'm wanting to say Luna. It's very weird. In any case, game's pretty even. JStorm actually have a 9k net worth lead. But it does feel like a lot of that's in the supports. 12k on the supports of the Radiant and total 7k. So 5 of that 9k lead is in the supports. Not to say that it's inconsequential. Definitely, I mean, this gem matters as part of it. And there is a mechanism on the Ogre. But the cores are at roughly parity, it feels, across the game. The Doom certainly lagging behind. But has what a Doom needs. A little bit of tankiness and that initiation tool. J.Storm going to assume the high ground for the moment. There is a double damage, potentially game-ending rune here for Bryle. Wouldn't say game-ending, but it could be a Rax securing rune. Sunray used here by the Phoenix. And the wave going to be cleaned up bottom. Can they protect the wave mid and maybe make use of this DD? Doesn't seem like they're too antsy to do so. Although they do find a Juggernaut. Radiant Vision in the area. Miracle in trouble. Blink forward. Miracle going to blink up. Doesn't have a TP for 30 seconds here. Trap may have caught a glimpse of him, but he is really out by his lonesome. They're even going to chrono for him. Why not? 65 seconds, no Juggernaut. Aegis in hand. This could be the opening J.Storm is looking for to blow this one open. Meanwhile, mid lane, Fire Blast goes out onto the Magnus, but that'll be all she wrote for that micro engagement. Ceremonial drums pop by Moo as Bryle makes his way up to the high ground with Aegis in hand. Forev gonna Delta split. You see how RP has done some work this game. Nice blink away from Bryle, prepared for it this time. Shockwave will drag him in. Eul Scepter will be there as well. And down into the Lina combo. But there is a Lotus Orb and a Sunray on Bryle. Glyph Frost Armor combination keeps the tier 3 up. And the Juggernaut still down for 15 seconds. They've done good not to expend his buyback here. But now the jump forward and the Sinister Gaze going to find Bryle. However, they didn't damage him quickly enough. And he's able to, with the Refraction, blink away. Forev pulled in by the Shockwave. The Doom is there as well. Infernal Blade. Sunray trying to keep him alive, but he is muted. Supernova going to be popped, and now jump forward from Miracle. He gets the Omni Slash off onto Fear. It is going to kill Fear off, but it's just the Ogre Magi. And the Supernova going to pop. They are going to buy back on the Lina. Jump forward. RP will find Moo's Faceless Void. He's already used the cheese. Is able to time walk away, though most of his health comes back. Reaper Scythe gets Z-Freak real low, but not dead just yet. He does end up ticking out to Bryle's trap. It must have been no jump forward. 3-man time dilation, but right into the LSA. Moo time walks into his death, but Bryle with the Meld Strike still cleaning up house. Takes out Monkeys forever. Bryle getting low. He does have Aegis still. Limp off of a buyback. Needs to get back here and tries to get the Euls off onto Bryle. Is unable to do so. Fire Spirits fly out. Aegis is going to be reclaimed and heal Bryle back to full. And the tier 3 was taken out. Perhaps more importantly is the critical economic damage of the Lina buyback. Sets her back 1,000. Bryle is the beneficiary of 1,000 gold, and 7k damage comes at his hand.
Coin for me.
Bryle becoming a force to be reckoned with. Miracle still very powerful as well. Unfortunately, it was a great split by the Radiant lineup in that one. Fear was able to just kind of tuck himself in the trees and soak the Omni Slash by himself. Of course, a big part of this combination with the Jug Mag is to try and get enemy heroes clumped up during that Omni Slash. Forev babysitting this haste rune, as Moo is gonna
Haste.
Shadow Blade up. The Dire don't see much here. There is a gem on the Phoenix, so the Dire's vision is very much confined to their end of the map. Oh, up on the high ground. Fear is gonna have his smoke pop, jump forward, fire blast, and the Hex coming out from Bryle. Freshly picked up Hex is gonna take out Z-Freak. They get the 2 supports. And the Chronosphere will find a third. It's going to be the Lina. She ends up using her BKB. She diebacks here for 100 seconds. And J.Storm have found a massive opportunity to break the base. However, they don't have a creep wave. Still, though, they break through backdoor protection. Okay, they had one mid. I'm tripping. I be tripping, fam. Sorry about that. I was tripping. In any case, it's 2 lanes of Rax and maybe a third. 70 seconds, no Lina. Last-ditch effort to come out. RP is available. Omnislash is available. They'll be able to empower the Juggernaut. They're going to need a massive, massive play here. No Supernova, no Chronosphere. There is a Reaper Scythe, however. But there's no Lina. J.Storm resetting. Putting Moo on the front lines. He's got the 9-second BKB. Hex is available as well. Vision for the Radiant, not all that great at this point. So they do back off, content with the 2 lanes of Rax. We saw this from them in Game 1. Very disciplined. Sort of low-risk play. And they'll take out the Shrines here. Very nice disbursement of the heroes there. As they walk uphill, the Ogre finds one, but nobody is concerned with the hero they initiate on. They jump back with Bryle, find a third. Jump to the east with the Void, find a fourth. Our second and third, I should say. It was the Lich, and the Lina, and the Magnus that they were able to get. So really nicely coordinated there. They know they had them on the back foot on the run. They had their BKBs. They had the Blink Hex initiation. Moo is perfectly positioned to break the smoke. Fear, again, going to be the first one to drop down. Miracle is kind of privy to this. And yeah, the Ogre in a lot of trouble. They do have a Chronosphere, but do they want to initiate? Jump forward. Supernova is there. Chrono catches 2. And Forev is nearby as well. Limp can't do anything but just watch his teammates die. Supernova connects. Reaper Scythe finishes off the Juggernaut. He will buy back instantly, as does the Doom. Limp hidden in the trees, waiting for Miracle to return. Gem on the deck. Jump forward. RP is going to find Moo. They're trying to get him from the low ground, but he just jumps down right into the Lina. They will Doom the Liquid Sphere as well. Moo's going to be just fine. And this could be all she wrote as Z-Freak goes down on the south side. Omnislash is going to once again pretty much be entirely soaked up by Fear. Fantastic job by the Ogre. Bryle will finish off the Doom. If Miracle goes down here, you can write them a ticket to the upper bracket. But wow, the right clicks, the cleaves. The LSA from the high ground. They're going to take one out. That's going to be Moo's Void, but they get the Juggernaut. Triple kill for Bryle. Everyone resetting. Necro doing some healing. Bryle, 7 seconds until he's got a Hex. Couple of right clicks, though, into the Lich. Monkey's in trouble. LSA will connect onto Bryle, but the Lotus Orb is there. They can't do much to him. He won't concern himself with monkeys. He'll go for the buildings. Creeps working on tier 4s. 4x multicast on the Midas for good fun. Jump forward, Hex. Chain Frost is going to be there, but Monkeys is taken out. Z-Freak forced back into the fountain. Monkeys has a buyback, will expend it. No Chain Frost for another 70 seconds. He just used it. Tier 4 is eliminated. J.Storm in firm control of this one. 35k net worth advantage. Moo on the sideline. Z-Freak goes for one more great skewer play. He's had so many in this game, but a jump forward. Beautiful Fire Spirits, and the Supernova is there as well. Even if he dies, it's worth it. And he won't. GG, well played, comes out from compLexity. And a full team unit win from J.Storm in this Game 3 as the fountain diving commences. Will punch their ticket to the upper bracket. J.Storm with a fantastic showing in this series, even after getting, to put it lightly, dumpstered in Game 2. They come back with a lovely discipline showing in this Game 3. Throughout the game, never really panicked. Necro had a few costly deaths early on. Forev, though, and the Ogre, 5 deaths, the most on the entire team. So really nicely played by J.Storm in this one. Moo and Bryle carrying them to victory. And they will take this series 2-1. They'll be moving on to face Flying Penguins, guys. That's going to be happening, I believe, tomorrow. Yep, it will be happening February 5th, 20 EST. So be sure to stick around on twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit, twitch.tv/DreamLeague for all things DreamLeague. Guys, until then, I hope you have enjoyed the broadcast. I am Maurice, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. If you did, you can follow me over on Twitter at MRPDota. Be sure to follow at Beyond the Summit and at DreamHackDota as well for everything to do with Dream League Season 11. Till then, guys, congrats to J.Storm. They face Flying Penguins tomorrow. You've also got the EG versus Forward Gaming, EG versus Universe matchup in that upper bracket. And Mike's team still fighting in the lower bracket, and compLexity will be as well. So a lot of good action left in NA, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. This is MRP signing out.